Hi, Duncan.
Well, hello there. How's it going, Robin?
It's good. Can you imagine that from being co-freshman counselors, we're now heading into our 30th college
It's
reunion?
it's mind-blowing. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the big 30 number.
Yeah. And not
And
only are we trying to wrap our brains around the big 30 number, but we're facilitating a conversation at our reunion about the big D,
the
divorce.
big D. And we're not talking about Duncan. We're talking about divorce.
Divorce.
Yes.
Yes.
The big
So
divorce.
I'm super excited to be facilitating this conversation with you. I think we are going to have a lot of fun.
This is going to be great.
Um, let's tell everybody a little bit about what our plan is for that conversation on that Saturday afternoon. So I think
Okay.
we're going to open up the conversation to anybody who chooses to join us to talk about whatever is on their minds and their hearts, whether that is what led up to the decision to divorce, the actual divorce process, and all the good, the bad, and the sexy that comes after divorce in midlife. um, for the benefit of our two observers right now to this video,
Yes.
you want to talk a little bit about how you got to where you are right now?
Sure. Well, I got divorced in 2022, after being married for 20, a little over 20 years. And it was a painful, difficult, excruciating process, something that I would not recommend anyone unless you have a pretty hard stomach, because it's not a fun process to go through. But it was necessary. And I'm happy to talk about why it was necessary when we get together as a group. I think that would be an interesting discussion in and of itself. But what I can say is that I came out the other side, and I am so incredibly happy now. My life has taken such an incredible turn. It was hard for a couple of years. I'm not going to lie. It was very hard. And there were so many new experiences, good and bad, that I went through. But I've now come out, it's been a couple of years now, and um, my life is so much better in so many different ways. Just in terms of me, in ways such as, um, I can use my time the way I want to use it. I can live the way I want to live. I can do the things that I want to do. And I don't live in a perpetual state of anger, frustration, um, this sort of insipid underlying friction that was always present in the household for many, many, many years. In fact, I didn't even fully recognize just how much of that underlying friction was there until it was gone. And suddenly it felt like this enormous weight that had been lifted off my shoulders. So, so yeah, the divorce process in and of itself, excruciating, but the net result, really, really good. What about you, Robin? Tell me a little bit about your experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, of course. I'm grateful that I don't think the experience was perhaps as traumatic, although I still wouldn't wish this on anybody. But, when people say to me, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you got divorced," my response is, well, two things can be true at once. It can be both
100%.
terribly, terribly sad and grief filled, and also, like you said, incredibly liberating. But nothing, I don't have a dramatic story. I think you and I have talked previously about how I feel a little bit like a cliche, because I know many other women of our generation who got to a point where they were tired of carrying the mental load, tired of being the last person thought of in the household. And, it was certainly not an easy decision by any means. The good thing is that my ex and I divorced very amicably. And so it was not this, I think the build up to it was rough, right? That do I stay or do I go?
Right.
Lots and lots of therapy. Um, which I'm a huge fan of.
God bless the therapy. Yep.
God bless the
Very,
therapy.
very helpful. Yep.
But yeah, but it was nothing dramatic in the sense that you know, um we just grew apart. We wanted different things and we wanted to live, our best lives, which we were no longer doing as a married couple. And now, in the post, so I got divorced in 2024, but separated in 23, and there were many years leading up to it. So it was not quite as dramatic, perhaps, as some other people's experiences are. And now, it feels a little bit like I'm living the 20s that I never lived. We were married for
We
almost.
can we can go into more detail about that later.
We're not going to go into great detail now or possibly even at reunion, but needless to say, having lots of fun. And just really excited to, I'm an open book. I like talking about this topic. And like you said, it feels, feel lighter. I feel like I am now
Absolutely.
living my best life.
Right. And
Living
and
big and
authentic.
authentically.
Yes. I think authentic is really the key word that I find myself going back to again and again, is that I feel like I'm living authentic to myself. And that feels amazing to be able to do that. And actually, I just want to pick up on one point that I think is an important point, is that all divorces are very different, and that some are amicable and pretty straightforward like yours, and then some have a little bit more friction involved. um, and so I'm hoping that we can talk more in detail about those experiences, and I hope other people will join us in talking about their experiences as well.
Yeah, it does not by any means need to be the Robin and Duncan show.
Let's make it not the Robin and Duncan show, shall we?
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, I cannot wait to squeeze you in New Haven next
Oh,
month.
big hugs.
Yes.
Big hugs.
All right. I will see you. And to those of you watching, we hope to see you as well.
We very much look forward to seeing everyone. Take care, folks.